Fellow auto detailers, welcome to the show that features interviews with today's most successful auto detailers. This is the Auto Detailing Podcast. Here's your host, Jimbo Balaam.
This week's episode of the Auto Detailing Podcast is brought to you by Google AdWords for the modern auto detail business. Now, if you're a loyal listener of the show, you've been hearing the ad run a lot for Google Ads, the Google Ads course. And that's because it is so effective. It is crucial for your business. And in fact, that is exactly what one of the students of the course has said, that this is absolutely crucial. He even compared it to getting just training in general for your detailing business. He operates in the Australia area, or the country of Australia, and he said he's usually dead during the wintertime. And because of this Google Ads training, he's getting 3 to 6 new clients every single week. And in fact, just with 3 calls, he made over $600 in a couple days. Another student of the course spent $40 and made over $1,000 with the help of this course. And so I really wanted to bring in these testimonials to show no matter what your budget was, you can effectively use these Google ad techniques that I teach you in the Google AdWords course at autodetailingpodcast.com/Google. That's autodetailingpodcast.com/Google. If you're looking to take your business to the next level and to smash your competition, you got to head over to autodetailingpodcast.com/Google. On to the show.
Welcome to episode 219 of the Auto Detailing Podcast. I'm Jimbo, your host, and today on the show we have Rob Schufer for the second time. So if you're interested in, and we're going to be talking about something a little bit different today than we did last time we had him on the show, but if you want to hear Rob's first time on the podcast, just go to autodetailingpodcast.com and type in Rob in the search bar, and his previous episode will pop right up. But today we're going to be talking about the IDA, or the International Detailing Association. So Rob, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming back on.
Thanks for having me. And
are you you were the president, are you the outgoing president, or are you still the president of the IDA?
I am actually, I stayed on as president. I'm now the 2-term president.
Okay, cool. Very cool. So why don't you, for someone who doesn't have any idea what the International Detailing Association is or does, why don't you give us kind of a brief background on it, and all that good stuff.
So the International Detailing Association is a trade organization for detailers. If you look at any other major industry, they all have trade organizations that help work for its members to better the industry as a whole. We offer seminars and webinars at different training locations across the country, also at trade shows, Mobile Tech and Detail Fest and things like that. We also have created a certification program to try to set a standard for what a detailer who considers themselves a professional detailer should know as far as terminology and procedures and techniques and things like that.
I love that. And so it's a place where guys can kind of rally against each other, talk to other guys, establish an industry standard, which is a huge problem within our industry specifically, and then also further their knowledge. What's discussed on the webinars, or what are the webinars about?
So the webinars we do once a month, they cover a wide range of topics, from CRMs to how to balance your life with your detailing. Lenny did that one. We've done exterior specializations, interior specializations. They go from as basic as to how to create a Facebook business page and monitor it and set it up, to paint collection and other aspects of detailing, such as boat detailing or airplane detailing. They cover a wide range, and we try to keep them varied, and we also try to alternate between one technical and one business. So it'll go technical business, so that way you can cover the whole gamut of everything that someone who owns a detailing company or aspires to own a detailing company would be able to know.
Sure. It sounds like a lot on a smaller scale of what I've been trying to do with the podcast is knowledge that can make you a good detailer, but also a profitable detailer, all in the same, which I think is a huge component of detailing. It's one thing if it's just a hobby for you and you enjoy doing it in your driveway, and a whole different animal if you're trying to actually be profitable with it as well.
And do it for a living.
And do it for a living, yeah. And actually make a true business out of it. What are some challenges that the IDA faces as far as trying to, because I've thought, like, man, how do you rally an industry together to create a standard? Because a standard would be a very beneficial thing within the detailing community, that the general public would be able to gauge how good a detailer is, or someone they're looking to hire is, based on maybe a set of qualifications or something like that. But how is that being the challenge? How is the IDA trying to overcome that, or how do you even overcome that with an industry that the barrier to entry is so low?
Well, so one of the biggest problems we have is the older generation, or guys who've been doing it a long time, who are always like, what's the IDA going to do for me? I've been doing this forever. You know, why do I need the IDA? And the way I look at it, I've been doing it a long time, it's what can I do for the industry that I'm a part of? You know, this industry supports my family, it pays my bills, and it pays for me to go on vacation, you know, so what can I do to give back to the industry that has been so good on me? And that's the hard part for the older guys. The newer guys, as we're getting into training programs across the country and having our certification testing as the part of the end of that training program, now anyone who's coming into these training programs who has no knowledge at all they know is the IDA is now the baseline for what a detailer is expected to know. So your level 1 test, the written test, everybody who comes out of detailing, some sort of detailing seminar, should know this information. You know, if you want to be a professional detailer, you need to understand pHs, and you need to understand what each piece of equipment can do and what it can and can't be used on. Those are base pieces of information. And if we can, as the new generation comes into detailing, if they all have a baseline expectation for what they should know, it will be a lot easier to build upon that to get them more advanced skills. And as we build more advanced certifications, it will just increase the entire knowledge base of everyone who is a professional detailer.
I completely agree with you. And thinking back to when I first started, if there was, and maybe I'm sure the IDA was around 8 years ago when I started or whatever, but if there was just that place where a newbie could go and really establish skills and knowledge from a reputable source, right off the bat, that would, over time, the hard part is, I guess, it takes a long time. But after a certain amount of time, if enough people could come on board, that really could change the industry.
Yeah, the growth the IDA has been seeing over the past few years is phenomenal. You know, from the early days of the forums, there's a lot of egos and butting heads and just non-professionalism. And as the IDA sort of rallies everyone together, it's becoming more of a community. I'm seeing less bashing of one another and more helping. And that's really, you know, that to me, that is one of the most important things to get out of the IDA is the networking, getting to know your peers. The amount of people I've met over the past few years and the ideas I've gotten, you know, you can't know everything, but to have resources to call on when I have a problem is amazing. You know, when I start a new venture or decide to use a different product, I can call a handful of people who have real world knowledge of what I'm about to do and are more than willing to help me out at any chance that they get.
And that's almost invaluable, you know, especially as a new guy starting out, to be able to reach out and talk to someone who's a few steps ahead of you. It's almost like having an on-demand mentor that I think's invaluable. Also, another thing that I thought of is it gives you a chance to kind of gauge where you're at and your business is at. I know for me, if you're not super involved, well, even if you are super involved in the online community and the online forums, you don't really know how much of that stuff is fluff and how misleading. A lot, yeah, most of it. I would definitely agree.
The people that do really well are the ones you don't hear from. It's the ones that run their mouth all day long that you have to not believe.
Exactly. So that's especially for someone that's brand new, but even for me, as I look at all these online Facebook groups and stuff, it starts really messing with your brain, because you're like, you know, you're looking at your reality compared to everyone else's highlight reel online, and it gives you kind of this false sense of what actually is reality. And so I could see, you know, maybe jumping on these webinars, interacting and networking with these other guys that are actually really operating and running a business, and getting the truth out of them could help set a healthy vision of what a truly profitable detailing operation looks like. Not what, you know, some guy that spent 4 million hours, you know, paint correcting only to find out he didn't even get paid for it.
Yeah.
Which drives me absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
So, and I know you come from a background of when you were last on the show, maybe for people that don't want to go back, why don't you touch on that a little bit, your background of detailing it and kind of where your business is at now, so we can establish, hey, this is what the president of the IDA, this is what his reality, his real world looks like for everyone listening.
So just earlier today, you know, I get calls from people who say, I want to start a detailing company. You know, I don't know where to start. This guy called me. He said, I have $5,000. I want to start a detailing company. I'm afraid it's not enough. And I was like, look, 11 years ago, that's where I was at. I had $5,000. I bought a $1,000 van, and I started my company. And that $1,000 van still runs. It makes that every 2 days, and it still runs 11 years later. So, you know, over 11 years, I've grown my company into 7 mobile trucks. I've got a shop. We do dealerships. We do the local Manheim auction. I just partnered up with someone and bought a 125-foot tunnel wash. So we've now tried to cover all aspects of detailing. I do everything from $6 tunnel washes to $1,500 to $2,000 correction and coating jobs. To me, if I've got the customer already, why not offer them any service that they could possibly need? So we cover the whole gambit of everything that someone in the detailing industry would do.
Does that kind of mess? I mean, I'm just trying to think. I guess you're too busy that you don't pay attention to too much online activity from other people that maybe have no credibility. But does it mess with your mind a little bit, or how do you help regulate when you are doing $6 tunnel washes and you can see where there could be profitability in that, but then you see just about every detailer online except for the guys that are profitable? Because another guy that came to mind was Ivan LaCroix, who I know is an IDA member. You know, he has the same philosophy as you do and seems to run his business fairly similar to how you do, of that all-consuming, all-encompassing aspect of detailing, you know, all profit levels or all price points to be profitable. But does it mess with your mind when you are doing like the tunnel car washes compared to the correction and coating jobs?
Not really, because, one of the things that I had to get used to when we got the tunnel wash was letting cars go that, from a detailing perspective, are not clean enough. But
right,
you're only paying $6 to $10. You get $6 to $10 worth of clean. So you kind of have to get adjusted for what's clean. But to me, I'm standing there greeting a customer who has a car who's willing to spend to get it cleaned. So whether or not I'm upselling them from a $6 wash to a $20 wash, or I'm talking them into having the car buffed out because it's covered in scratches and they've been through the car wash too many times, and now it's time to have it polished and waxed. So I'm basically broadening my reach to local customers, to customers that didn't know what detailing was or didn't know that those sort of services have existed. They've always just run through the car wash, and nobody's ever stopped to explain to them why you need more than just a regular car wash. Some people don't care, but other people are very receptive to it, and they've just never been educated. And that's really what it comes down to at any point during the detailing process, is educating the customer, explaining to them what they need, honestly what they need, and why they need it, and they will be customers. You can sell them higher services if you are honest with your opinion about what they need.
And then to bring it back full circle to the IDA, that's where the IDA can come in and really help and assist guys, because they're kind of piggybacking on the knowledge that you have of, like you just said, to help them out and grow their business as well. So would the IDA be good for people who own tunnel washes and detailers alike, or is it geared more towards the professional auto detailing industry, more so than the car wash industry?
I would say that it's definitely geared more towards the auto detailing industry, but there are those of us in the industry that also own car washes, and some of the big car washes have express detailing or full service detailing bays attached. So I think there is a little bit of crossover. There's a very, very big trade organization for just car washers, but there is a little bit of crossover, and I've once I got the tunnel wash and I started asking around, I came across a few people that do both, and were very helpful in explaining to me how to do both. So, people who say, what's the IDA do for me? I'm the president of the IDA. I have a very successful detailing company, and I am calling on other members to get their advice on what to do. And, that to me is the most valuable part of a membership like this, is again, having those resources and the education to know who to call, to get honest feedback from people about what my next steps might be.
And that's a huge reason to join in and of itself, is just being able to kind of use that, hey, I'm an IDA member, as access to another IDA member to get advice as to what to do. Other than that, maybe what are like 2 or 3 more like good reasons to join the IDA?
Well, so why don't I do this? Why don't I say some of the things that the IDA is going to be working on this year? The number one thing is consumer awareness. So as the IDA grows, we have more power to steer potential customers to IDA members, similar to what ASC did. After a few years, ASC was able to say, you need to look for an ASC certified mechanic, and they put signs up in their stores. People know that name. But not that long ago, ASC was the IDA. They had to start somewhere. They're a trade organization for mechanics. So consumer awareness is huge for that. Also, last year we created the Skills Validated Test, which is essentially the level 2 certification, where you actually have to go to a registered trainer An IDA registered trainer, people like Jason Rose and Mike Phillips, and perform a detail in front of them and show that not only do you have the book knowledge, but you actually have the practical knowledge to detail a vehicle. It's more than just knowing, on paper what's what. You actually have to be able to perform in front of them. And then also business development. One of the things that we see out of a lot of detailers, you can be the best detailer in the world, but if you don't know how to properly run a business, you're never going to be successful. You're just a technician. So we started a business development task force to help those guys who are fantastic detailers but don't know the first thing about running a business, how to get businesses licensed, what kind of insurance you should have, how to properly do marketing, how to set budgets, things like that. That's going to be something that the business development task force is going to be looking at this year. So all three of those things are going to be big selling points for the IDA and will help the regular detailer increase awareness, profit, and their craft all at the same time.
Wow, those are pretty compelling reasons. Especially,
and what it comes down to is it's $100 for the year. About $8 a month. What else can you get for $100 for the entire year that will cover you for things like that? Nothing costs $100 a year. You can't even drink coffee for that price. So
That's true.
That little investment you will reap dividends on it over the years.
How do people, and we'll touch on this again, but just for someone who's piping in and maybe can't listen to the rest of the episode, just so we can get it in, how does someone become an IDA member?
The first step would be going to the website. So it's the-IDA.com, and all of the information is there. You can join as a member, an operator member. You can join. So we have a supplier membership for those in the manufacturing or distribution side of the detailing, where you can get in front of the memberships through sponsorships and press releases and stuff like that to get in front of a group of detailers who are willing to listen. So you can do that from there. On the website, you can also take the level 1 certification, the CD test. I always compare the level 1 certification to like your learner's permit test, where you have to show the base knowledge of how to drive a car. They don't actually ask you to drive the car yet, but you need to know the basic stuff, what the lights mean, who's got right of way, stuff like that. That's step 1, and that's what our CD test is. It's 10 different tests on different topics of 10 questions each. And once you pass those, then you become a certified detailer, and you're eligible to take the skills validated version, which is the level 2 version.
Wow, and we'll have all that linked up in the show notes, but I just wanted to get that out there because we hadn't really mentioned that before. What other aspects of the IDA do you want to talk about? Do you want to highlight? Do you want to share? I know, and before we jumped on the line, you talking about what happened at MTE. What else do you want to share about the IDA?
Well, so at this point, Mobile Tech has become kind of a showcase for what the IDA does. We held seminars all day long for 2 days, had some of the top people in the industry giving hour-long seminars with question and answer sessions just about a broad range of topics, anything to do with detailing. We also held a roundtable where we had 12 top names in the industry sit down at a table with each topic, and you could rotate around the room and sit and have a real-life discussion face-to-face with someone, again, like Jason Rose, who can explain paint correction to you face-to-face and answer your questions in real time. We also did a bunch of the level 2 skills validated testing there. I think we did skills validated for about 20 people. We also had an awards banquet and business dinner where we gave out technical awards like Detail Person of the Year, Detail Shop of the Year, Mobile Detailer of the Year, and Detail Product of the Year. So, we gave out awards. We all got together. We had some drinks and some laughs, and we hung out. I always enjoy Mobile Tech. That's one of my favorite events because it's small enough that everyone gets to spend time together and see each other, and you're kind of trapped on one location, where it's not like SEMA where you have friends that you know are there and you don't see them. It's so big, and everyone scatters once they're out of there. It's very hard to link up and spend quality time with other detailers.
Love that. Yeah, I didn't have a chance to make it out to MTE, but it seemed like it was a great time. And yeah, that smaller kind of atmosphere makes it a little bit easier to hang out with everyone. And also another added benefit of being part of the IDA is if you like going to these events and you attend these events anyway, it gives you kind of a pass into the inner circle of the top movers and shakers of the industry.
I would completely agree with that. People that, when you start out, you see these names of these people like, Rennie Doyle and Mike Phillips. And, these guys are actively
Jimbo
involved
Balaam
in the IDA.
No.
And you can actually meet them and talk to them and discuss detailing topics with them. They see the value in bringing the industry together. And if somebody like those guys sees the value in it, joins, become, our Founders Club, where they paid a little extra to get a nest egg for the IDA and become lifelong members. If these guys see the value in that, every detailer should see the value in it.
I think I have a new product category. It would be Auto Detailing Podcast of the Year. Just teasing.
I'll bring that up in our discussion in April.
I'll pass it on. Sure. Right on. All right. So
I don't think you have a whole lot of competition for that category, but
there's a few. There's a few. All right. So as we wrap it up, kind of give us your final thoughts on the IDA. Again, encourage guys to join the IDA and tell them how they can join the IDA.
So the IDA, the value in the IDA is just having that resource where everything detailing is brought to and combined into one place that you can get information from, you can network with other detailers, you can get certifications, starting with the level 1, the skills validated. We're looking at mastery level 1s, also offshoots such as marine detailing, RV detailing, motorcycle detailing, because not everybody only does autos. So
right.
we want to encompass everything to do with detailing and bring it into one location that's not manufacturer biased in any way.
Right. Good point.
We don't get into that. We'll give you honest opinions, but we don't play favorites and stuff like that. If you have a question and you bring it to the IDA will get you a bunch of answers from a bunch of different people and say, here's what we found out, and give you real feedback on your question. The resources that can be pulled from is amazing. The knowledge and the experience that is joined up with the IDA and brought the 400 detailers or so that we have together is great. You can just call upon anyone. And like I said, if you go to the website, all of the information, all the member benefits are there for both suppliers and operators, where you can join, you can ask questions there. You also get access to the IDA Facebook group, which is a private Facebook group with just IDA members that you can ask questions in. And you can also find mentors there. One of the things we're going to do is switch the mentor program over to the IDA Facebook page. Whereas if you want to and you're new to the industry and you'd really like somebody like me to have on your phone to call for questions, that's where you can go for something like that. And to new detailers, I wish I had something like that. I kind of lived in a bubble for the first 6 or 7 years of my business. I had no idea any of this other stuff went on. That would have helped me enormously, but I just didn't know.
Right. That's kind of the point. One of the points I was trying to make earlier as well is you can kind of isolate yourself to your own local community and not really have any idea of what the outside world is or outside community is actually doing. And I love that point that you brought up too about, an unbiased opinion, because that's one thing that I see a lot online too, is that kind of whatever product manufacturer is behind the advice that they're shelling out, they're, rightfully so, gearing it towards their product line, which is an issue in my opinion, because new guys just get bombarded with all this, good marketing and end up throwing a ton of money down the drain on products that may or may not work, but they just bought into the hype because of the skills that they were learning were from a particular manufacturer. So if there is a resource that guys could go to, like the IDA, that is huge and could potentially save them, 10 times the amount of the yearly cost of the IDA.
Yeah, of course. Just learning, what's what. You don't need 50 different types of compounds.
Right.
And I think that's a stage that all detailers, when they start out, go through.
Yeah.
It's whatever the new hot product that the forums are pushing.
Right.
That's what they got to have. And you got to grow out of that.
Right.
And realize, I have this product. This product works just fine for me. I don't need 20 other similar products.
Exactly. Cool. With that said, Rob, I'm going to link all the links up in the show notes. So if anyone wants to get the link to the IDA and they're driving or working out or whatever, listening to this, I'll also link up our previous chat if people are interested in that. And again, I thank you for taking the time and share about the IDA.
Yeah, and thank you for your time. And again, if anyone would like to go online, it's the-IDA.com, and then you can click on Join Now, and you can join up right then. Pay through the website and have access immediately.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Auto Detailing Podcast. Head on over to autodetailingpodcast.com for full show notes and links of everything that we've talked about today. And don't forget to check out our resources page for a direct link to all the products talked about not only on today's episode, but that I use in my day-to-day detail business. They have direct links so you can purchase and get free shipping right from that page. That's autodetailingpodcast.com. We'll see you on the next episode.